Can a single missile really wipe out all of Japan? When Russia's S-28 Sarmat'intercontinental ballistic missile was dubbed the world's most powerful nuclear weapon, this chilling claim began circulating widely online. Its astonishing performance parameters indeed far exceed those of any intercontinental missile currently in service with China or the United States. However, behind this lies a complex puzzle. Is it genuine deterrent power, or a mix of strategic propaganda and practical limitations? To answer this question, we must look beyond the surface and delve into the background of this weapon's development, its true capabilities, its technical weaknesses, and the geopolitical rivalry behind it. To understand the origins of the Sarmat, we must look back to its predecessor, the Soviet-era doomsday weapon, the Ir-36M2 Satan missile. This missile was a terrifying legend of the Cold War, with a maximum takeoff weight exceeding 200 tons, capable of carrying 10 warheads and numerous decoys, and a range of up to 16,000 kilometers, making it the most destructive weapon in the world at the time. However, the collapse of the Soviet Union caused the system supporting the Satan to disintegrate overnight. The southern machine building plant, which produced it, was located in Dnipro, Ukraine, and the key design bureaus and supply chains were scattered across the former Soviet republics. This meant Russia could barely maintain it, let alone reproduce it. Before the 2014 Crimean crisis, Russia and Ukraine could still maintain military cooperation, and Ukrainian engineers were still helping Russia keep these Satan missiles in combat readiness. But the complete breakdown of relations left Russia facing an urgent strategic crisis. Its strongest land-based nuclear deterrent force was gradually turning into a pile of scrap metal due to the inability to maintain it. The Sarmat project was thus pushed forward with full force, in response to this urgent need for a replacement. On paper, the Sarmat certainly deserves the title of world's strongest. Its maximum range exceeds 18,000 kilometers. What does that mean? It means it can launch from a silo in Russia, bypass the South Pole, and strike any target on Earth. This South Pole trajectory makes it difficult for existing early warning systems to effectively track and intercept it. In terms of destructive power, it offers two modes of destruction. One is a single, extremely powerful warhead with a yield of up to 25 million tons of TNT equivalent. The other is a more complex configuration of 10 to 15 independently targetable reentry vehicles capable of simultaneously attacking multiple strategic targets. The figure of 25 million tons is staggering, equivalent to over 1,600 Hiroshima atomic bombs. In comparison, China's most advanced Dongfeng 5B intercontinental ballistic missile has a single warhead, with a yield of approximately 400 to 500 kilotons. The US's current mainstay Minuteman III missile does not even carry a single large warhead but instead uses 3 multiple independently targetable reentry vehicles, each with a yield of approximately 33 kilotons. Whether in terms of range or destructive yield, the Sarmat holds a generational advantage. It is this overwhelming numerical superiority that has fueled the terrifying rumor of one missile destroying Japan. From a purely mathematical perspective, it seems plausible. The Hiroshima little boy caused approximately 140,000 deaths, so the Sarmat, with 1,666 times its yield, could theoretically eliminate tens of millions of people. However, the harsh reality of nuclear physics is that destructive effects do not increase linearly with yield. The destructive range of light radiation and shockwave overpressure generated by an explosion follows the cubic root law. Increasing the yield by 1,000-fold only increases the destructive radius by approximately 10-fold. A 25 megaton nuclear bomb has a destructive radius roughly 3 times that of a 100 kiloton bomb, not 25 times. It could indeed vaporize an entire megacity in an instant and cause unprecedented disaster, but covering Japan's entire territory of 378,000 square kilometers with a single missile is physically impossible. The focus of modern nuclear strategy has long shifted from the yield competition of pursuing single warhead weapons to the penetration capability competition of achieving more efficient and harder to intercept capabilities through multiple independently targetable reentry vehicles, MIRVs. Behind the impressive statistics of the Sarmat lies a thorny issue that the Russian strategic rocket forces prefer not to discuss: reliability. Since the project's inception, including early tests, the Sarmat has undergone multiple test launches, but the failure rate has been staggering. Out of at least 6 publicly reported test launches, 3 ended in failure. The most severe incident occurred in September 2024, when the missile exploded violently inside the launch silo, completely destroying the entire structure. This catastrophic accident served as a cold shower Awakening those who had been blindly optimistic about the project. It sharply revealed a fact: despite inheriting the Soviet Union's missile technology foundation, Russia faces significant challenges in developing and manufacturing this strategic weapon due to disrupted supply chains, restrictions on imports of high-end electronic components, and the overall decline of its aerospace industry. The Sarmat's unstable performance is a true reflection of the strengths and challenges of Russia's military-industrial complex more than 3 decades after the dissolution of the Soviet Union. The strategic value of the Sarmat lies not only in its destructive power, but also in the shift in Russian nuclear doctrine, reflected in its unique design concept. Unlike the US and China, which tend to develop more flexible and mobile road or rail-based launch systems, the Sarmat insists on using heavy silo-based launch systems. While this may seem outdated, it is closely tied to Russia's active strategic deterrence doctrine. Its massive payload capacity allows it to carry a large number of advanced decoys and penetration devices, specifically optimized to counter US missile defense systems. In a sense, the Sarmat is a system breaker, designed to overwhelm and penetrate enemy defenses through sheer force and numbers. This brute force over sophistication approach reflects Russia's strategic choice to rely more heavily on nuclear weapons as an asymmetric means of ensuring its security amid the decline of conventional military capabilities. Additionally, the Sarmat carries not only military functions, but also significant domestic political propaganda value. President Putin personally promoted the weapon, referring to it as a gift to NATO, and showcased its three-dimensional animation simulation of strike effects on national television. This public display of Russia's most powerful strategic weapon aims to unite domestic public opinion and boost morale internally, while demonstrating to the outside world that Russia remains a major global power that cannot be underestimated, capable of developing cutting-edge weapon systems, even under comprehensive sanctions and isolation. Thus, the Sarmat is also a carefully crafted political tool, with its image-building efforts as important as its practical combat value. However, modern warfare is a systemic confrontation. No matter how powerful a single weapon may be, its effectiveness will be significantly reduced if it operates outside a robust combat system. Russia's space-based early warning satellite system and command and control system lag behind those of the US and China in terms of modernization levels and resistance to attacks. These shortcomings in soft power could constrain the Sarmat from achieving its theoretical maximum effectiveness at critical moments. In contrast, both China and the United States are focused on developing more survivable, decentralized, and intelligent, nuclear and conventional dual-capable strike systems, rather than simply pursuing the extreme parameters of a single platform. Therefore, when evaluating the Sarmat, we must adopt a dialectical perspective. It is by no means the nation-destroying weapon mythologized online, but it is indeed the most powerful operational intercontinental ballistic missile in human history. It is a strategic shield that Russia has developed with limited resources under geopolitical isolation. Its massive yield and ultra-long range grant Russia powerful asymmetric deterrence capabilities, particularly its coverage of the US mainland, which serves as a key pillar of the strategic balance between Russia and the United States. However, its high production costs, relatively high failure rate, and potential risks of electronic component shortages also limit its large-scale deployment and operational reliability. It is both an indispensable ultimate weapon for Russia to maintain its status as a world power and an inevitable proof that its national strength can no longer fully match that of the Soviet era.